Hi Spoonies! Welcome to the Spoonie version of the Artist Way. If you have the spoons for it, if there are commercials during this video, if you have the spoons for it, if you could watch them, it helps me earn a teensy bit of money since I'm unable to work right now because of my illnesses. If not, no worries. So, what is the Artist Way? It is a 12-week self-directed course on healing and recovering creativity. There's reading for each week and exercises to do like free writes, artist date. It's definitely looking at and healing creative scars, which can be challenging as well as liberating. Many of us have deep wounds, fears, anger, or apathy, another word for hopelessness, around our creativity, and it blocks us. And the Artist's Way is about healing these blocks. So you will need, I definitely recommend getting the book. There's so much in here. I mean, you can try it without, and I'm sure there'll still be some benefit, but it's fairly inexpensive on Amazon, eBay, local thrift stores, even like Goodwill. You will also need a notebook, or you could also write on your computer or your phone or however works for you. And then a commitment of time. Julia Cameron, who wrote the book, says 8 to 10 hours a week, but for a Spoonie version, I think even 10 minutes a day would be fantastic with like a 30-minute thing on the weekends. But I think the biggest thing for me as a Spoonie doing this is to keep going no matter what. Like even if I have a really bad flare and I miss a week, whatever, just coming back to it and doing what I can. Recognizing that it's fine to skip things and that my health comes first. And yet at the same time also stretching myself. So if I'm having a super brain fog day or whatever, you know, can I still write for a few minutes and just get a little something down? Julia Cameron, the author, suggests a weekly schedule. I'm going to be doing Sunday to Saturday. So that means that on Sunday, I'll read the chapter for the upcoming week, speed write through the exercises, as much as I can anyway. And then during the week is when I do the daily pages, artist date, and then the tasks at the end of each chapter. Julia Cameron says, you know, people may only be able to do half, and that's fine. I think as a Spoonie, if I can do even one, that's great. And she said the rest are there for later, you know, for whenever we want them, if we want them again. In choosing which tasks to do from the book, she says to pick those that appeal to you the most and pick those that you strongly resist. And to leave the more neutral ones for later. And just remember in choosing that we often resist what we most need. In what to expect from the process, she said that she often sees a lot of defiance and giddiness in the first few weeks, followed by a lot of anger and then grief as we're processing, you know, these things. And then alternating waves of resistance and hope. She says that this series of contractions, as it were, is like a birthing process where people experience a lot of elation and a lot of defensiveness. And she said that this choppy growth phase is followed by a strong urge to abandon the process and return to life as we know it. And she calls that the creative U-turn. Unfortunately, that's where I have always stopped before when trying to do the Artist's Way. She said recommitment to the process next triggers a free fall of major ego surrender. I'm not really sure what that means, but I look forward to finding out. And that the final phase of the course is characterized by a new sense of self marked by increased autonomy, resilience, expectancy, and excitement, as well as by the capacity to make and execute concrete creative plans. And I'm assuming that means that I will be way more creative, and that's what I'm hoping for. Okay. So this is week 0 from now until next weekend, next Sunday. During that time, I am going to be practicing the daily pages. Julia Cameron calls them the morning pages, but and says that she says 3 pages a day, 30 minutes every morning. But for Spoonies, I think any length of time at any time of day is totally fine. For me personally, my commitment is I'm going to try to do 1 page a day at any time of day. I do find if I can do it earlier in the morning, even if I'm feeling bad, I will remember to do it, whereas I'll forget if it's later in the day. I'll probably set an alarm for that. And what are they? Okay, so the daily pages are just free writes. writing anything that comes to mind, just pen on paper, just keeping it going, like a brain drain. It's not real writing, or verbal vomit, or whatever you want to call it. Just getting stuff down on paper. Even if I can't think of anything to say, right? I can't think of anything to say. This is really stupid. She said it can be whiny or mad or sad or bored, whatever, just getting it out. And what I really took from it is like it's about practicing flow and ignoring the internal censor that says, this is dumb and what am I doing and that sort of thing. She also says it's a lot like meditation, linking you to deeper wisdom inside, but we'll see. So the other thing is for me to be thinking about during the preparation week is the artist date. The daily pages, she said, is about getting things out, and the artist date is about putting things in. Putting fuel in, nurturing our inner artist. Julia Cameron says about 2 hours a week. I think that any amount of time is fantastic. And whatever works within the confines of my health. She said it's a personal play date done with just me and my inner artist. So no friends, kids, spouses, anything. That our inner artist is a child and needs time and attention, not money. So it shouldn't cost money. And that we need to listen to what our child artist says, to listen to what's fun. So not just doing things that are culturally edifying and that we should enjoy, but like what's truly fun, what gives us a sense of joy. Examples that she gave were long country walks, going to the beach at sunset, church gospel music, or even bowling. Some Spoonie friendly artist dates that I thought of were, those Google goggles that they have so you can like virtual reality see like inside museums and stuff. I thought that would be cool. And I don't have to go anywhere. Listening to music in a dark room. Getting library books on a visually inspiring topic like gardening in Japan. Watching a Bollywood movie. If you have other ideas for an artist date for Spoonies, a Spoonie-friendly artist date, put it in the comments below. Or put it on Twitter with the hashtag Spoonieway. Julia also says, play is at the heart of all good work. And increasing our capacity for good creative work is what this book is about. So giving ourselves permission to play. She said we're also likely to find ourselves avoiding the artist date and to recognize this resistance as fear of intimacy, self-intimacy. To have a real relationship with our creativity, we must take the time and the care to cultivate it. So the other thing in preparing is to write up a contract or agreement or whatever you want to call it. I'll have an example of mine on my blog post in the description. She has a contract in her book for people to fill out, but I think any statement of commitment is great. And part of this is really recognizing self-care. And then the other thing in preparation, she has a list of basic principles of the course. And again, that's on my blog post. She says to read them through once a day and watch for any shifts in attitude or beliefs. And I'm actually pretty resistant to most of them, so it will be interesting to see what happens. Okay, that's all I can think of in getting ready for the Spoonie Artist Way. Post on Twitter with the hashtag Spoonieway. Send me comments there if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do. I'll try to answer. Please don't be offended if I don't get around to it because I am a Spoonie too. And I'm really excited to be doing this. Have a great week.